one is a lot.
All the things I can have, it is right now. You're such a
What's going on? Are we up?
It's live now.
Okay. Let me confirm that. All right. I'm looking at the comments already. Kamala Fair Richard is saying we are ready. I love that energy. Thank you, Godwin Ishaku Azaki. Thank you. I'm looking at the comments and we are live and we are about to have an amazing time. I hope you have your book. I hope you have your pen because even me myself, I'm ready to learn. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, daddy and mommy, Nigerian students and youths. My name is Esther Ilukholor and Anastasia. I am the National Director of External Affairs and Diaspora Matters, Nigerian Students and Youth Association. And this particular webinar is being sponsored by NSYA, Nigerian Students and Youth Association. So this is the whole idea. So NSYA thought it important that Nigerian students and youth should not just learn and grow, let us have wide and vast knowledge about the world, how it functions, and how we can take opportunities from different parts of the world, from people like us that are already taking these opportunities. So this is the main reason for this webinar today. I want to welcome everybody specially. Thank you for the early comers. I like people that keeps the time a lot. I'm looking at the comment session and it's really making me really happy. Thank you so much for coming on time. It means we're going to finish on time and it means we have enough time to get all the knowledge in today. So without further ado, let me welcome our guest speaker for today. And he's going to be delivering a lecture. Let me use the word lecture. Based on the topic for the theme for this webinar. But before I go there, let me give a brief intro citation of our guest speaker for today. He studied English language in Nigeria. English language is actually his first degree before he moved outside the country for his master's from a prestigious university abroad. We are going to leave him to give us all the full details. I'm just going to give little snippets. Now, Mr. Chima is a passionate advocate for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, with a special focus on quality education, which is SDG 4, gender equality, SDG 5, and reduced inequality, SDG 10. By profession, Mr. Innocent is a dedicated English language teacher, skilled in teaching English as a second language, ESL, and English as a foreign language, EFL. He's also a writer and uses his words to inspire and educate. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome together our speaker for today, Mr. Innocent Chima. He is going to be the one giving us the lecture on today's theme, which is striving amidst language barrier in a foreign country. Welcome, Mr. Chima. Thank you for the opportunity you have given to Nigerian students and youth to learn from your vast knowledge and experience. You have the floor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Esther, for the wonderful opportunity to be here at a time like this. So let me begin by greeting good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time zone of your current location. So based on the introduction, Esther already did a very, very good job there by, giving that brief citation about my person. So I think the only thing I would just have to add is officially, the full name Chima is Chimambam, okay? But then Chima is fine. I mean, I'm mostly known by that. So she's absolutely correct. And she also said that I am a teacher of English language as a foreign language, as well as a teacher of English language as a second language. That is TEFL and TESL. And according to her, I'm also a writer. She's absolutely correct. It is safe to say that I am a teacher by day and a writer by night. So I think that's more like a summary of everything that I am. Also, in addition, like she said, yes, I am enthusiastic. I'm a passionate advocate for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 5 on gender equality, goal number 4 on quality education, and goal number 10 on reduced inequality. These are my area of specialties. So I mean, there are many more things about me, but I think due to want of time, space, and chance, you might likely want to save them for a better day. So now we'll just go straight into the
I'm
business
sorry,
of
Mr.
the.
Chima. I'm so sorry. I'm
Okay,
so sorry. I'm cutting you short.
it's
But
fine, it's fine.
before you go into the business of the day, some people
Yeah.
would like to know if you're single or married. What's your marital status?
Okay. Well, I like to, when someone asks me this kind of question, I like to tell them to take a guess. So perhaps you can guess, am I single or married or engaged?
Can I see this? Can I see this?
It's empty, right?
You are in a relationship, but you've not gone to the altar.
Well,
Please,
well, well, well.
single sisters here, please. Don't go and carry white woman. Biko, come back home.
Okay, well, whatever you say, you're correct. I agree with you
It's elaborate.
100%.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you so much. Thank you so much again. I mean, it's a privilege to be here. So the business of the day, so basically we're here to talk about the central theme that discusses striving amidst language barriers in a foreign country. And this is peculiar to travelers, or let me say potential travelers, or even sojourners. I mean, people who are already living in a foreign country, especially in countries where the language known to them isn't spoken. So this particular topic is so important for every one of us because I believe in one way or the other we would have the interest to travel abroad. And you never can tell, you might get a chance to travel to a country where your original language isn't spoken. Or maybe if it's spoken, like English language, if it's spoken over there, maybe it is spoken just at the barest minimum. So you need this meeting. It is so, so important. You can't just overemphasize it for real. So, so you see, most people in recent times have kind of underrated the effulgence, I mean, the importance of this issue of language barrier. So because most of us come from a country like Nigeria where we have over 500 indigenous languages as well as some foreign languages that are taught in school, for example, English language and French language. So because we come from a country like that, and we are also able to exist and navigate all of those language barriers. So for example, someone born and raised in the East travels to the West or to the North and is able to live comfortably amidst the language barrier. I mean, staying in a place where they speak Hausa, for example, you don't know how to speak Hausa, but you could easily live and navigate in such environments easily. Or maybe you are born and raised in the north, you have no knowledge of Yoruba language, and then you travel to the west, where Hausa is not spoken. But what is spoken there is a language that you don't know before, that is Yoruba, but you are still able to navigate effectively. Now, many of us feel that because we are able to navigate around or within Nigeria or within the 36 states of Nigeria effectively, then we feel that it is always the same case when we travel abroad. Because we have kind of obtained stamina and stability, irrespective of language barriers, we live in different states in Nigeria successfully, then we feel that that same stability or that same stamina that we're able to, convert, that we feel that when we travel abroad where the language known to us is not spoken, we feel that we can also live easily or navigate amidst the language barrier in a foreign land. But I tell you this, it is not always the same case. Being more particular, I know someone like me, I was born and raised in the East. So to me, I'm a Igbo. Igbo, all the infant kuku because Onya Keji went from Anama Igbo, like I speak Igbo language, so easy for me, And then I know other people also who come from different parts of Nigeria, and then when they travel to the north, they live some of their years in the north, and to them, they be like, Wallahi gaskiya harishan awasabashida wahala. I mean, like Yana Daseki so say, to them, it's very easy for them to say that Hausa language is very, very easy to them because they have spent a few years in the north, and so they could speak Hausa. Or maybe some of us who are opportune to study, like, say, French language in school, right? And so to us, or someone like me, we're able to say something like, je parle le français. La langue le français est si facile parce que j'ai étudié le français à l'école secondaire. Like, because we went to school, and so we were taught French language, and as such, it's easier for us to speak the French language. So with all of these things, we feel that we have the capacity or the stamina to navigate or withstand the barriers that are associated with language barriers when we travel abroad. But I tell you, my dear, the difference is always there. It is not always the case. Do you know why I said so? Because when you live in Nigeria, you come from the north originally, and then you travel to the east, and you could exist freely and do your things easily without no problem. The reason is because you only have just one problem to battle with, and that is that language barrier. Of maybe because you are born and raised in the north, and then you travel to the east, you only have one problem to battle with. That is the battle of the challenge associated with what? The difference in language. The government that controls the north is also the government that controls the east. So you don't have any problem maybe trying to settle into a new government entirely. Culture sometimes may be similar. The food you eat sometimes may be similar. So you don't really have much problems apart from that language barrier, as in someone coming from the north and then traveling to the east in Nigeria. But you see, when you travel abroad, you have got loads of problems to battle with. Apart from the language barrier, you have a challenge trying to settle into a new government altogether. Settling into a new, rules and regulation policies. Settling into a new environment where you need to, mingle with new faces, with different new culture altogether, new food, different kind of food, eating habits and stuff like that. So you see, there are so many challenges that are associated with people traveling abroad. And so the language barrier is also there. So all of these things put together makes everything become highly overwhelming, which is different from or in a case whereby you are in Nigeria and you travel from, say, Enugu State to Abuja, is easier because, like I said earlier, you only have to battle with the language barrier. So, but when you travel abroad, the case is always different. It is more overwhelming than you could ever think. So let's not always try to underrate this issue or this idea of striving amidst language barriers, because it is highly sacrosanct. It's very, very important for us to think about this before we make any move. I mean, I know different people who got offers to travel abroad to a country where their language is not spoken originally, but because of that language barrier, they had to turn down such offers. Meanwhile, that could have been a golden opportunity for them to at least build their language proficiency, or to say the least, add to the knowledge of the language they know. But because of that language barrier, they have already envisaged it. What do? They will just kind of end up turning down such offers and losing out of such golden opportunity. So my essence of being here today is just to help you discover the silver lining in the cloud. I mean, help you to discover the good sides of traveling to countries that do not speak your original language, or that speak a language that is entirely strange to you. It could be a golden opportunity for you. I mean, imagine when you travel abroad and then you are able to navigate effectively, you learn that language, that new language. It's an added advantage to you. It's a feather on your cap. It might as well use it to even build your CV or your profile. Yes, that you've added to the language, the list of language that you know. So it's very, very helpful. So don't always get discouraged whenever you are in a kind of condition of traveling abroad where the language known to you is not spoken. That's why I'm here today, just to help you navigate effectively. So you see, someone like me traveling abroad for the first time to a country where they don't speak English, or let's say they speak English just at the barest minimum. My first 2 months in this country was kind of a heck of a trouble and challenge. I must tell you, it was funny, but it was kind of troublesome for me. Every day I need to shuttle down to my school. I wasn't opportune to stay or to live within my school environment, so I had to travel all the way to school every morning. I mean, in this new country. And it was kind of overwhelming because I was trying to save funds coming for the first time. Otherwise, I would have just subscribed to booking Uber, ride, going to school. Then it becomes very easy for me. But because I wanted to save costs, I only had the option of, boarding public transportation, like the public buses and the train station. And, in a time like this, in the morning, everyone is busy going to work, going to school and different places. So you don't always find it convenient stopping someone to begin to ask the person for direction. Worst case, in a country where they don't understand your English language. So it was almost impossible for me. You know what they say about what goes around comes around? It was literally me, because I would literally go around the town before I finally come around my final destination. I mean, what do I mean? Traveling all the way from my house to school, I would see myself going beyond the town, going beyond the city, because I didn't know the environment and I didn't know how to ask questions. So I made the mistake of always going beyond the city, the town. Before I realized that, oh, I've gone beyond my city, I would stop, I would alight, and then return to where I boarded the bus or the train, start all over again before I finally get to my destination. So it was so a heck of a trouble. But I must tell you, so far so good. I am being able to, navigate and strive amidst this language barrier, because this thing called language barrier, it's always there. You can't stop it. And as much as so long as there is no common language that unites the whole world, you will always experience language barrier in one way or the other. So mine is just to help you, tell you how you can successfully thrive amidst this language barrier. So for me, I'm being able to thrive amidst language barrier, living in this country where English language is not spoken as official language. It's spoken, let's just say, at the barest minimum, but I'm able to thrive. So in the course of this meeting, I've outlined about 7 to 8 practical steps that enabled me thrive effectively. And see, number 6 will surprise you. So stay with me. Now let's go down. I was so inspired making my research and studying this Shannon Weaver model of communication. It's quite old, but I'm highly inspired by it. Shannon Weaver model of communication. Now, Shannon Weaver model of communication states that effective communication is a process that involves a sender, a receiver, a message, and a channel. But when language becomes a barrier, that process is disrupted entirely, thereby leading to misunderstanding, confusion, isolation, hitches, and many other troubles that you can think of. You see, but I really want you, amidst these language barriers, you should be able to discover the good side of this language barrier. Now, what are these practical steps that have helped me or that are helping me navigate or strive amidst this language barrier? Number one, which you must also learn to do. It is compulsory. You cannot escape it. You must learn the language. I tell you, you must learn the language. But relax. I'm not trying to tell you to become a master or professional in that language. No. But I mean, there are basics. There are basic aspects of that language which you must know. Now, when you travel to a particular country, that is the first thing you must know. That first thing is how to greet. I prefer to call it an expression of sense of belonging, because before you approach someone to talk, there must be this sense of belonging, this kind of manner of approach that comes from you to the person. That is what tells the person that this guy or this lady wants to talk to me. And how do you do this? You must show respect. You must greet. Now, in the country where I am, the first time we came to the country, we are told that the way to approach someone for the first time is by gesture with your hands like this, and then you say Sawadee Kap. That's where we greet here. Now, when you do this and say Sawadee Kap to someone, you have automatically drawn the person's attention to you. And as such, the person will be willing or ready to listen to you or to attend to your particular need. Now, that aside, other aspect of these basics of the language that you must know is numbers. Numbers is very important. I mean, you cannot escape this, because when you want to buy something, you must mention number, as in the currency. You must mention that. When you want to tell the time, numbering is also very important. And I think numbering should be the simplest or the easiest thing one should be able to grab in a foreign country where your language is not spoken. Do you understand? Now, everything I'm telling you is what I am doing, and it is working for me. That is why I'm bold enough to tell you this. These are practical steps. So coming to this country here, I can tell you, I've been able to master their numbering system. I can count 1 to 1,000 if time permits me. Noon, song, sam, si, ha. Hook, jet, ped. Cow, sip. Sip, ped, sip, song, sip, sam, sip, si, sip, hawk, sip, jet, sip, ped, sip, cow. Ye sip, ped, ye sip, song, ye sip, sam, ye sip, si, ye sip, ha, ye sip, hawk, ye sip, jet, ye sip, ped, ye sip, cow, sam, sip. I just counted 1 to 30. So you see, I have to learn this because it is very important as elements of communication, at least at the basics. So it is something you can do. Sometimes it may be difficult, but I tell you, it is not impossible. So you too can do it, depending on the country where you go to or where you see yourself in. You can learn this particular thing. It is part of the basics. Now, going further as regards the basics, you must also learn some important verbs or action words. Do you understand? It is very important. Like, even if you are unable to make a long sentence or a complete sentence in that native language, by simply mentioning verb and action word, the person listening to you, the local or the native speaker listening to you, has gotten a clue of what you need. I mean, in English language, we're even taught that it is impossible for you to make a complete sense without a mention of a verb, an action word. So that is the importance of action words. And even in English language, when you don't make a complete sentence, just by simply mentioning a verb, an action word, your listener gets a clue of what you're saying or what you're talking about. So the same thing applies to travelers who are living in a country where their original language or say English language is not spoken. Try as much as you can to learn some important verbs, action words. Once again, everything I tell you is what I am doing, and it is helping me. So far, so good. Here, I can mention some important or some everyday verbs or action words that we use in day-to-day communication, right? Because it's important. You must go to the market to buy something, except you want to be ordering something online. And of course, sometimes it may be kind of exhausting. So learn all of these things. It will help you in the marketplace. Someone like me, I can easily go to the market here and then demand for something using some basic verbs. For example, I go to the market and then I see something I like, and then I want to ask them, how much is this? I have learned to say, Anita Raikap. So when you say Anita Raikap, it means like, this is how much, please. And then they'll tell you, Ane Samsi Bats, as in this is 30 bahts. And then to you, maybe you don't like 30 bahts, it's too expensive. You say, how about they make up like it's 25 bahts, okay. So you see, this is something I have done, it is working for me, and you too can do it. Because the truth is, in that market environment, you're gonna see people, yes, they are educated, but they were not schooled in English language, or they were not schooled in the language known to you originally. They are schooled in their own native language. So for you to communicate, for you to effectively achieve your aim in that market, you have to bring yourself down to the level that they understand. Remember that this is a marketplace, right? Where you see many people come, like it's so busy. They are busy selling to people. So you can't just come and then begin to waste their time trying to look for someone that will interpret for you in a marketplace, as busy as they are. So you must learn these basics. It will help you. It will make them even feel, welcomed. And then they will be willing to respond to your needs. So this is very, very important. Okay, good. Now, going further, number 2, practical steps that can help you thrive amidst language barrier in a foreign country is you should be ready to acknowledge or appreciate gestures or body language. Like I told you earlier, here, when you want to greet or when you want to show respect or call someone's attention, when you make like this, when you do like this is a body language that shows that you're respecting someone. So you see, different countries have, according to their cultural values and customs or what you call traditions, they have different body languages, or gestures that are peculiar to them. So you must study all of these things when you travel abroad to a country where they speak a language different from yours. It's helpful. But then you must be very careful, because some gestures or some body language that are okay or that are acceptable in your own native culture might be insinuating, like it might be abusive in a different country's culture. That is why I said earlier that you must study their own culture and know what is obtainable and what is not before you begin to use body language or gestures. All right, good. Now going deeper, number 3 is you must learn or choose. You can choose to use what's it called again? Pictures or diagrams. Yes, I know sometimes that might be too overwhelming. Like you want to go out and then you first of all have to prepare all the pictures that you want to show. Like when you go out, you want to show them this picture. What is this? Sometimes it might be too overwhelming. What if you don't have the means to get those pictures? Or maybe you don't have your phone at the moment to show them picture of what you want. Sometimes it might be overwhelming and exhausting. But if you feel it's okay for you, then play safe, okay? So that is number 3. Now, number 4 is the use of technology. Good thing, every day, technology is advancing, it's evolving, and it is getting to the threshold or to the doorstep of everyone. As someone who is traveling abroad, of course, you must have a smartphone at least, even if it's not iPhone or all of those expensive phones. At least a smartphone. A smartphone could contain some of these apps, like try to get Google Translator. It's very important. It's very common. It can help you when you go out in the street or you want to buy something. You can always use the Google Translator, type what you want, and then play the sound if the person cannot see through the screen, play the sound, and then the person can listen and understand what you want. And the person can also reply you via your own phone by maybe speaking to your own phone, and then you see the interpretation also. So Google Translator has been helpful to me also, and to you, it will also be helpful. Apart from Google Translator, we have other applications like Google Lens. I like to call it Google Capture, but it is called Google Lens. It is on every smartphone, and it's important when you want to, understand writings. You want to understand write-ups on a document. And I must tell you this, please, when you travel abroad, before you say yes or no, before you give your consent to any written document, something that is written in a language that you do not understand, please use that Google Lens, capture it as in an image, and then translate automatically on your phone. Read through and understand before you say yes or no, because I know someone who is in trouble till today because she, out of duress, out of pressure, she gave her consent to a document written in a language different from what she understands. She didn't have the leisure, or the time or opportunity rather to use her phone to capture the write-up to translate before giving her consent. But she gave her consent out of trust. But just to find out that the content of that particular document is something that is highly implicating. And today she's still in trouble. So please, before you say yes to any written document that is not in your language, please use your Google Lens, capture it as an image, translate on your phone, read through before you say yes or no. Another important technology on every smartphone that has been helping me is what we call Google Map. It's very, very important. Google Map is something that has helped me also to navigate different places. Like when I don't feel like asking someone for direction when traveling from place to place, I switch on my Google Map. When I'm in a bus, or maybe I want to walk to a distance, I use my Google Map, and it effectively takes me to my right destination. Sometimes it might seem complicating, but in most cases, it is always accurate, right? So it's very, very important. It's very, very important. So now I've mentioned Google Translator, I've mentioned Google Lens, now I've mentioned Google Map. So it's very important. When you open your Google Map, of course, you know what you will see. Let me see if I can share my screen just briefly so you will see what I'm talking about. When you open your Google Map, when you get your Google Map, you see something like this. Yeah, this. You see? This is your Google Map. This is what it shows you. Everything you're seeing here, these are locations of places. Especially this one is for when you want to use the train. This is a Google Map that takes you, or that tells you where you're going to from one train station to another. You see, it has different lines, the green line, the red line, the blue line, as the case may be. So this has been helping me. With this, most times I don't need to ask questions. I just get on the train and then I get to my destination. So that is it for that. So let's continue. So this is it for the importance of technology on every smartphone that have been helping me to thrive amidst language barrier. All right, good. Now, another important or another practical step that has helped me, or that is helping me thrive amidst language barrier, is what I call immersion. Like immersing yourself, engaging with the natives, engaging with the locals. It has helped me a lot. Now I'm gonna settle with this. I'm gonna settle on this one now. And to explain this further, I'm going to be using, permit me please, I'm going to be using different universal laws or universal principles to explain this. Remember I said I called it immerse yourself, immersion. Now, the first universal law I want to talk about is the law of immersion. The law of immersion defines the process whereby, or let's say, the law of immersion defines the process of becoming one with your environment, whereby every boundary, okay, every boundary between the individual and his surrounding environment becomes blurred. it gets blurred, such leading to an absolute or complete absorption and transformation. That is to say that as an individual who travels abroad, you must learn to immerse yourself in the culture of that new environment. By immersing yourself, more like you are soaking yourself, you are engaging with the locals. And the more engagement you attain, the more you are transformed into understanding the language of those people. And that's how you thrive. It's very, very important. That's the law of immersion. Okay. Now we have also the second universal law, which is called the Archimedes principle. The Archimedes principle, for scientists here, you should know what I'm talking about, right? The Archimedes principle is associated with the fluid mechanics, which states that any object that is partially or fully submerged in a liquid, in a fluid, rather, be it liquid or gas, experiences what? An upward buoyant force that is equal to the amount of fluid displaced by that object. Let me explain. Bringing this down to the aspect of language learning, as people or as travelers who travel abroad to a country where their language is not spoken originally, one of the things that will help you thrive amidst that language barrier is by immersing yourself, like submerging yourself, the same way an object is submerged into a fluid and then comes up again, experiencing total transformation. So as that individual, when you travel abroad, learn to submerge yourself in the culture of that environment. It might be overwhelming sometimes, it might be difficult sometimes, but I tell you, it is worth the effort. So the more you submerge yourself in the system, in the culture of that environment, the better you are transformed into understanding their language. And that's how you learn, and that's how you thrive amidst the language barrier. That is the Archimedes principle. Now, we also have another universal law, which we know in biology called the law of osmosis, right? Now, this law of osmosis is defined as the random net movement of water molecules from a place of higher concentration to a place of lower concentration to achieve equilibrium. Now, let me explain. To relate this law of osmosis to language learning or thriving amidst language barrier in a foreign country, this goes to say that as an individual who has traveled abroad to a country where your language is not spoken originally, that is something that you are expected to do. You should be careful. You should be careful enough to move from a place of higher concentration, as in a place where you have higher concentration of English language, down to a place of lower concentration. That is a place where you have lower concentration of English language. In other words, a place where you have higher concentration of the native language of the locals. I know people, like where I am at the moment, I know people who have lived in this country, foreigners who have lived in this country for up to 20 years. But I can tell you that they know little or nothing about the language spoken in this country. Why? Because when they came first, at the first time, they chose to live in a place where there is higher concentration of English language speakers, leaving out the place where they have lower concentration of English language speakers. And as such, for 20 years, they are unable to understand even 10% of the language of the locals because of their environment. So please, when you travel to a foreign country where your language is not spoken originally, please try as much as possible to move from a place where you have higher concentration of that your language to a place where it is in lower concentration, but a higher concentration of the language of the locals. That's how you submerge, right? That's how you immerse yourself into the culture of that particular environment. And that's how you are transformed by way of learning, appreciating their language, and thriving amidst the language barrier. So that is the law of osmosis for you. We also have the law of diffusion, which is similar to just law of osmosis. So I'm not going to emphasize much on that. So let me skip that one. Now, I also have another important universal law, which I love so much. Now, this is what I call, or this is what is called the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is also called the chaotic theory. It is propounded by a Brazilian weather analyst called Edward Lorenz many years ago, say in the 1960s. Now, what did he say? He made this research and then he discovered that little changes in initial conditions could amount to massive, unprecedented outcomes in the future. Let me bring this down in the aspect of immersing oneself in a new culture or in a new environment. You see, when you attend or when you enter into a new environment and spend some time there, there are these little changes that occur around you, consciously or unconsciously. One of which is your accent begins to change from what it used to be when you first came to somewhat or something that looks like the accent of the locals. These are little changes that occur to you as an individual, consciously or unconsciously. Or even at times when you begin to speak, when you're speaking English language that you know already, then you see yourself unconsciously code mixing and code switching, to the language of the locals. These are those little changes that you experience when you immerse yourself in a new environment. But trust me, it's a good thing because these little changes, give them some time. You begin to see that you become transformed massively by way of even speaking better the language of those natives. So these are things that have been helping me strive amidst language barriers, living in a country where I am, where English language is spoken just at the barest minimum. And I tell you for sure, it will help you also traveling to different countries out there where the language that is known to you is not spoken. Now, I'm going to conclude with this. It is also part of somehow more or less a universal law, but I will also explain it and then relate it to the idea of language learning or adapting or thriving amidst language barrier. I believe you know about the mathematics theory called the Pythagoras theory, right? Now, what does Pythagoras theory say? It says that for every right angle triangle with the side hypotenuse h, whose value is yet to be seen, it says that that side hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the other two sides, A and B, that is the perpendicular and the base. I'm sorry I'm using universal laws, but this is just the best way I feel I express myself in most cases. That is why I try also to explain it. So back to what I was saying. Looking at this Pythagoras theorem, we see that the hypotenuse is usually longer, right? And that is the same side that is unknown. We're looking for the hypotenuse. It is long, yet it is unknown. Now, for us to discover the value of that hypotenuse, it must rely, see the way it is like this, it must rely on the other two sides, A and B, the perpendicular and the base. And the perpendicular and the base are usually shorter than the hypotenuse, which is unknown. Meanwhile, this shorter angle, they are known, their values are known already. But the hypotenuse, though it's long, the value is not known. So for you to find the value, it must rely on the other two sides. Now, bringing this down to our discussion on thriving amidst language barrier, I'd like to tell us that you as the traveler or you as the foreigner living in a foreign country where your language is not spoken, you are the hypotenuse because you are yet to find yourself in that environment. You have some missing values that have, cost you or that have prompted you to go or travel to that country. You are looking for something. So your value is still X. We're looking for you. So for you to find yourself, for you to find your full effulgence in that foreign country, you must rely on the other two sides. The other two sides represents the natives, the native speakers, the locals of that country wherein you are at the moment. So for you to find yourself as a hypotenuse, you must rely, you must depend on the function or the ability or the power or the strength of the other two sides, the perpendicular and the base, which in this case represents the native speakers. There is no two ways about it. For you to achieve maximum thriving amidst language barriers, you will, in one way or the other, rely or depend on the locals, or to say the least, people who can speak the language of the natives. Of course, you cannot exist alone. One man cannot make an island. One tree cannot make a forest. So you need to get a support from people who can speak that language. In other words, when you travel to a country where your language is not spoken, you must find language partners. These are people that will help you, give you the nitty-gritty or the basics of the language of that new environment where you see yourself. You have come is that you have come. So no going back. So for you to stay successfully and be effective and be productive, you must just have to learn that language. And speaking of learning the language, there are very easy ways for you to learn the language. If you are not opportune to attend an on-site language classes, good thing we have YouTube. I mean, there are basic language classes on YouTube. Click on any of those channels and then you are good to go. So these are the practical steps that have helped me or that are helping me thrive amidst language barriers in this country where I am, where English language is spoken just at the barest minimum. And like I said earlier, language barrier is something that exists. Since there is no particular language that unites or that connects the whole world. When you travel to different places, you're going to experience different languages. And experiencing different languages come with their own barriers, come with their own challenges, their own difficulties, their own hitches and hurdles. So for you to successfully navigate and thrive amidst these language barriers, then all of these practical steps that I have mentioned above, these things will help you navigate effectively. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is my time. Esther, please take over. Thank you so much.
Oh, Mr. Chimampa, thank you so much. This has been really, really, really educative. I have my book is almost filled up. Just look at this. I've been jotting. You didn't tell me this was going to be a full lecture. And it's really interesting because I didn't even know some of these things, especially those laws you were quoting. Some of them I can still remember them from secondary school. But the one with Edward Lawrence, those are new ones that I will still go and check. So thank you for taking your time to really give us the in-depth on this topic. So without wasting much time, let's go directly to the questions. I'll also be checking the chat box for questions. But I have some questions I wrote down while you were talking. So before more questions start coming in, let me be looking at the comment section. So I hope you're ready for questions, bro.
Yeah, let's shoot.
All right. So my first question, I'll start slowly. I'll start with the easy ones. My first question is, how many languages do you actually speak? Because in your introduction, you spoke French, you spoke Igbo, you spoke, Yoruba and Hausa. So how many languages do you actually speak?
Well, one thing about me is I like to explore. I like to taste different things per time. So, but I can say that I speak two languages. I speak English language, I speak Igbo language fluently. I mean, fluently. But then for the other languages, like say Hausa or French, I was opportune to study those ones in one way or the other. So I have a little knowledge of those languages, but I have more knowledge of French language than maybe Hausa or any other language. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. You're being very humble. It's all right, no problem. We'll manage. Now, the next question is, when you still in your introductory part, I could tell that you didn't have it easy when you were settling in.
Mm.
So you did not really dwell there, but while you were talking, I was actually visualizing how it was, right from when you just land, and then everybody is speaking languages that you're not so conversant with. So I'd like to know first, is it that before you left Nigeria, you're already learning this language? And just for clarity, you've not mentioned where you're actually speaking from and what language you're talking about. So that just for clarity, but it's fine if you want to keep it to yourself, but we would prefer that for clarity's sake because you were listing 1 to 30 and in all honesty, I was trying to put it together, because I thought you were going to do Uno, dos, stress, but that was not what you were doing. The one you were doing was somehow like, is it Chinese or Japanese? I don't even know what that is. So please, just for clarity, let us know what language we are talking about here. Then, how was it for you? How was the new culture shock, you know? And in all honesty, how is the hustle there? Is it as
Mm.
bad as it is here for us? From your own perspective, no, no one is going to take your word to any place that's going to get you into issue. It's just your own perspective, so that people who are also looking at getting the same opportunity you have now would know what to expect. So if it's just for us to just rest and stay in our Nigeria, let us just know. Or if you can give us the assurance that to some extent, the hustle or it's actually easier there. Please just give us your own perspective in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay, so of course I'll be honest, yeah. So speaking of where I am connecting from, the reason why I didn't want to mention it in the course of the introduction is because I've not really been at a place. So it might really like be contradicting or complicating trying to say here and there. But basically, so far so good. I've just been shuttling between Malaysia and Bangkok, Thailand. Yeah, so Bangkok, Thailand, that's been my, shuttling, different activities, taking me to Malaysia, back to Bangkok and stuff like that, but mostly in Bangkok, Thailand. Yeah, so
So
that
the
is it.
language you were speaking was Thailand
Yeah, it's Thai,
language.
language of the Thai. They call
Right,
it Thai,
right.
Thai language. Yeah,
Thai.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
very much.
speaking of the hustle, I think it's kind of relative, as in relative because it depends on the individual. I mean, they say one man's food is another man's poison. So what may be pleasing to me, what I might find pleasant may not be pleasant to someone else. So I'll be speaking based on my own perspective, as a person. So far, the hustle generally has been fair enough. So far, so good for me, for me. And I must say, no matter what, or no matter what, how hard it may be for other people who are here, I could say that to me, it is better than what is obtained there in Nigeria. So far, so good, and to God be the glory. Yeah, so this me being honest.
Can you give us just one instance that you can we can use to relate to this thing you just said? Something that
Okay,
one experience that happened, yes.
okay. So I could say that life is just easy here. Of course, the security challenges, it is no longer news, so I'm not going to hide that. The security challenge that I hear and see on the internet as it relates to being in Nigeria is highly overwhelming. But I can tell you that being here, it is almost at the 0%. I mean, insecurity, it is almost at the 0% because I could freely walk midnight, 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. on the road without fear of someone trying to, club me or do something funny or something nasty. So you see, the idea of insecurity is just almost at 0% here in this country. So that is one aspect of it. And then also accessing public facilities is very easy. Since you have, with small money, actually, you can actually access some public facilities, and the convenience is there. Unlike where we come from, that's the truth. Sometimes you might even have the money, but it's almost impossible for you to gain access to some public facilities unless if you know someone that knows someone that knows someone. So all of these things, on an average outlook, I must tell you sincerely, the household has been fair enough compared to what I used to experience way back in Nigeria. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Before I continue with my own question, let me read a question from the comment section. So Mr. Godwin Ishaku Azaki is asking, you make mention of steps needed to overcome language barrier. So out of these steps, which of them is more easier to help one learn fast? Then the second question, also, is there any class for foreigners to learn the general language?
Okay, thank you for that question. It's quite a brilliant question. So yeah, I have made mention of different practical steps which I applied, or which I am still applying, because I can't say that I've applied them 100%. I am still applying them because this is just a course, a journey in progress. So all of these practical steps, one of them that has helped me navigate effectively is the law of immersion, by immersing myself with the locals. Every day, like if I chose to live in a place where I have many people who are more of the Thai speakers. I don't really want to stay in the place where I have my co-foreigners, because I'm not going to learn anything there. So if I really want to learn the language, then I must stay with the locals. So that is one thing that has helped me, by immersion, law of immersion. That is one thing that has helped me so far. Okay. Then the second question is, please remind me, I forgot again. Second question, please.
Is there any class for foreigners to learn the general language?
Yes, there are classes, like there are many classes
Are they
to
free?
learn. Nope, they are not free, but I can say for sure that they are relatively affordable. Yeah, they are relatively affordable. You can go on site, you can also study online, so they are available.
Okay. Thank you very much. Would you like to share some of these sites with us? Maybe after. You can just
Yes,
share the link, then I'll drop it in the description box.
that's
Thank you
fine. I
so
will
much.
do that. You're welcome.
All right. So the next question, Mr. Chimampa. Did I get that right?
Correct, absolutely.
How did you relocate? Did you go through the study route or the work route? And I can see you are an ambassador, and even though you didn't mention it, and you also are big with the SDGs. And I see a lot of your updates. I see you go for United Nations meetings, doing those big boy stuffs. So tell me, was it through this after you relocated, you started having those opportunities, or you started getting those opportunities from here? So that's two questions.
Okay, thank you for that question. And it's very important for us to note that before someone makes a move out, there has always been a preparatory ground. So I will tell you for sure and for free that I attained some of these opportunities while I was still in Nigeria. I'm a kind of person that I like to explore. I think I mentioned that earlier. I like to explore. So what I do oftentimes is I just grab my computer and then I begin to surf the internet. Like I browse different websites, I go into different websites looking for what I don't know, I tell you. And it helped me also because, first of all, being here, I came here as a student. Yeah, study route. And good thing is on scholarship, right? And the scholarship, I got the offer. No one gave me the information. It was through my personal search on the internet that I discovered it. And to God be the glory, it landed me here, and so far so good. Yeah, you mentioned something about me being an ambassador. Yeah, that is Pan-African Youth Ambassador on Internet Governance. Yes, 2023, I was one of the 100 selected Pan-African Youth Ambassadors on Internet Governance in Africa. I think in Nigeria, we were about 3 or 4 of us. I think 3 or 4, yeah, in Nigeria. Then we had other people from different countries in Africa. So that is how I came about that, being that kind of ambassador. That was 2 years ago, rather. Okay. And I'm also part of Rotary. I'm a Rotaractor. I was the changemaker president of Rotary Club of Abuja Kubwa, 2020/2021. So these are different engagements that I got myself connected to way back in Nigeria, and they helped me, navigate effectively, and they are still helping me, attain higher ground. So my advice now to people who are watching is try as much as you can to connect to whatever positive association, gainful association, connect. You never can tell where you will meet your helper. It helped me, it is still helping me, and it is definitely going to help you. So I hope I answered that question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for inspiring us and making us feel like we've not done enough.
Oh, come on. No, 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 no.
My goodness, the pressure is getting worse, sir.
Calm down, Joe.
I'll try my best. You cannot oppress me. We'll get there too.
So you're a big person already now. You're a big name.
And and the good thing is I can attest to all of this. I know you're a retractor
Yeah,
because we got to know each other when you were still in Nigeria.
right.
And in all honesty, you are big on reading. You are, in fact, you are a reader and you're a learner. And I like that about you. Right from the
Okay.
first time we met at that Rotaract meeting, I could already tell the kind of person you are. And when you wanted to leave, and then I had to do the travel arrangement stuff, I already knew you were going on scholarship, but you are so humble. You don't really talk much. You just do big things and don't talk much. That's your own signature, and I like it about you. So yeah, I would like to ask you because most people who are not even here will also benefit from this. In fact, this is the main reason why we do these events, why we host these webinars, because there are so many opportunities. I won't call it laziness because Nigerian students and Nigerian youth are genuinely looking for opportunities. Most of them that want this, they are genuinely looking for it, but they don't know the right place to go to, and they don't know what to look for. It's just like everybody's in ChatGPT, but not everybody really knows how to prompt it, you know. So this webinar now, I'm going to beg you, because Ziano,
It's fine.
please cut for us and share the link of the website you got your scholarship from and all these opportunities that you also applied for that gave you the opportunity to serve in these ambassadorial positions. Please,
Yeah.
as much opportunities you see available, kindly share it with us so that we'll also benefit from it. Nigerian students and youth will appreciate it a lot because you are paving ways for people that are almost getting frustrated because they've been looking for these things but they can't find it. So if you don't mind, kindly help us with these links. And I'm going to disturb you for it. Just know that, Sha, but Bikon, help us. All right,
Okay.
we have more questions on the comment section. Oh, I
Yeah.
missed this. Someone said my head is busting. I know to like tomato.
Sorry.
But you were lecturing us.
Hmm.
That's why I have so much notes. Anyways, so for a shy person like some of us, what do you advise in terms of interaction? How do I start this interaction like you mentioned about Rotary? I hear it is for rich people. Because they have big money that you pay yearly, be monthly. And it's true. That's a good question. Thank you so much for this question. Please tell
Uh,
us. I also know Rotary is for big people because people that have chop and belly full. So how do you
yes.
go about it?
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I mean, I love people who are curious and inquisitive. They say curiosity kills the cat, right? And not a human being. So it's not kill, you
Mm,
just keep being curious. So speaking of Rotary, yeah, Rotary Club is a humanitarian organization. And yes, people feel that it is for big people, like big names, wealthy people. Yeah, it is true. It is true, but it is not entirely the truth because Rotary welcomes everybody, whether you are poor, whether you are rich, whether you're average class in the society, big or small, Rotary welcomes everyone. Rotary is a club for professionals, and as a professional, you mustn't be wealthy to be a professional. So long as you are skilled, you have so much dexterity in a particular skill. I mean, you are welcome to Rotary because in Rotary, we serve in Rotary with three T's. Number one is talent. Talent is your gift, your knowledge, as the case may be. We have also time. If you feel you don't have wisdom or if you feel you don't have talent, you can devote or sacrifice your time to serving Rotary. And then if the last T is treasure, that is where the money comes in. So you see the three T's of Rotary: treasure, talent, and time. So it is not compulsory for you to possess all of them. If you don't have treasure, that is money, you should definitely have time. If you don't have time, you should have talent. So whichever way, you are welcome to Rotary. So it is not entirely a big man's affair. Everybody is welcome, so long as you are skilled, or you have time, or you have money. Meanwhile, Rotary is not the only club or the only association that could help you interact and become social. There are many of them out there. I know about the Lions Club and many others, but just for the sake of this meeting, I will just restrict to the one that you mentioned, that is Rotary Club. Thank you. Okay, while we still wait for the host, Esther, to come on board. I would like to also emphasize something. You see, so far, I've been thriving amidst language barriers in a foreign country, and this is more or less a clarion call. Soliciting, speaking to everyone who is on live, connected on live, listening to me. I would like to round this meeting off with one more universal law, which is called the law of inertia. Law of inertia is Isaac Newton's first law of motion, which states that an object in motion will forever remain in motion unless being acted upon by an external force. On the other hand, an object at rest will forever remain at rest until it is being affected by an external force. That is to say that we as a people who are passionate about traveling, we as a people who are in their need or desiring to travel to a country of our dream countries in the nearest future, go ahead and make a research. Surf the internet, like I said, subscribe to different newsletters as much as you can. Let it be that every day you receive email, let's just do anything possible to ensure that your email is always busy. And like I said, you can achieve this by subscribing to every single, newsletter that you come across. That is how you get information. Okay, so don't let anything to stop you. Hence, you've begun this activity, you're on motion. Do not let any external force to put you at rest. That is what Isaac Newton's first law of motion, the law of inertia, states. So be that object, be that person who gets on motion, remains on motion without any external force acting upon you to put you to stop. All of us have a dream, right? So keep pursuing that dream. One day, your luck might come knocking at the door. And one thing else I have to say is this. I know so many people, so many of my friends who tell me that they want to travel abroad, and the first question I ask them is, do you have an international passport? You see, as easy, as simple as, or as common as this is, possessing an international passport, you realize that there are many people who are in their need of traveling abroad, but they do not have the least to say an international passport. So tell me, how about when you eventually get the opportunity, say scholarship, to travel, and then because you do not have an international passport, it becomes a hindrance. So you see, this should be the very first thing you must pursue. Get your international passport and keep it in your box, because opportunity comes but once, so that when opportunity meets you, it won't meet you unguarded. So always be on guard. Always be on guard. Get your international passport and keep surfing the web. This should be the very first thing you should do as potential travelers, or as people who want or who desire to travel abroad anytime soon. It is a very good opportunity. Everyone should test it. So please do not take this for a ride. It's so important. Welcome back, Esther.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. My network just went haywire. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry about that. So, let's just round off because we've already spent so much time already. I think I took about 10 minutes to fix that. I'm sorry about that again. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. We've learned a lot from you today. Just a brief very brief recap in like 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds. You've shared 7 steps that helped you settle in the current country you have right now. You talked about how we must learn the language. You also talked about appreciating gestures and body language. You talked about the importance of pictures and photographs. You also talked about the importance of using technologies and apps like Google Map, Google Translate, and Google Lens. Then I'm just rushing through. Then you also spoke about immersion. This was where you really spoke a lot. You spoke a lot of grammar here, a lot of laws and the rest. So you talked about I'm not even sure I got this right, but what I wrote here is Archimedes principle.
You're correct.
Then you talked about, thank you. You talked about the law of osmosis, the law of diffusion, the butterfly effect. I'm really interested in this one, so I'll go read about it more. The one about that Edward Lawrence invented. Then you also talked about how we need to find language partners. In all of this, I want to say thank you for taking your time to impact and give us knowledge that took you time, money, effort to learn. We appreciate you. We pray that you will keep on excelling both in your academics and your work and your life in all ramification. Thank you for giving us your time today. And to everyone who has taken time out of their busy schedule to learn a thing or two from Mr. Chima today, I hope you will utilize what you've learned and not just write it. We do this so that it is going to be utilized. And as Mr. Chima said, he's going to share with us some of the links that would help us to get opportunities that he has been a beneficiary of. So once that link is shared, I'll drop them in the description of this video and also drop them in the general platform of NSYA. So if you want to be part of NSYA, just let me know. You can put it in the comment section, or if you have my WhatsApp number, share it with me and I'll let you know the process. So thank you so much, Mr. Chima. This has been a very informative session. And on behalf of the leadership of NSYA, both from the executive and the board of trustees, I would like to say thank you so much. And we'll hope to have you sometime very soon in the future. Thank you so much, sir. All right. It's a wrap, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. How do you say good night in Thai? You're muted.
Just say Kapun Ka.
Okay.
Kapun Ka.
Kasu Tapu Hai.
Kapun Ka.
In Jesus' name, I've prayed. Amen. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Coming from the Congo, took me to Mombasa. I love Zanzibar, sail across the ocean, stop in Carolina.